The Jamaican diaspora, or those speaking on their behalf, are many times fooling themselves. There are so many competing indoctrination, social self-hatred, and disparaging views of their ethnic communities and country conditioned into them since colonial times, and there have been no real effort to do work on eradicating these unfortunate beliefs that are perpetually being passed down to the new generations. Additionally, the ongoing propaganda that they are hearing simply reaffirms what they were already believing. People have simply come to accept these things without truly exploring the information that they are hearing. Let's examine some of the different delusions that are plaguing some Jamaicans on the island and some Jamaicans in the diaspora. Let's have the conversation.
The Jam Fam family. Jam Fam, come hang with me. Yeah.
Hello, Wagwan. Big up yourself, whether you're there yard or you're there abroad. Welcome back to another episode of Life with the Jam Fams. So on this episode, we're going to be addressing some of the delusions that Jamaicans on the island or in the diaspora have come to believe through the decades. And firstly, let's just address the context in which the word delusion is being used in this video so that we can take out any wrong ideologies from the minds of those watching it. Delusion is a false belief or judgment about external realities held despite incontrovertible evidence to the contrary. So what we're talking about here is the things that people believe even though there are evidence that suggests otherwise. Number one, Jamaicans believe that they have the right to speak badly of Jamaica, but no one else should. The fact is, if we are speaking badly of Jamaica, it is giving other people the right to do so too, because if that's the narrative they're constantly hearing, us saying negative things about Jamaica, that's also the narrative that they're going to start to spin. Because how else will they know other things about Jamaica if we are not sharing it with them? For example, when you see content creator coming to Jamaica, one of the first thing you hear them highlight is potholes. There are potholes in other countries. There are potholes in the UK, there are potholes in US, there are potholes in Canada. However, you don't hear those people talking about them, but they talk about it here because they constantly hear Jamaicans referring to it too. So they think that it's okay and it's the norm to do that. So we need to normalize the type of things that we want people to know about Jamaica by the things we say about our country. Because let's face it, the other countries aren't going out there and airing their dirty linen for everybody to see. But we feel that we can do it and nobody else should have the right to do the same. And whilst it's okay that we can say things about our country and other people shouldn't, if that's all they're hearing, then what else will they be able to say? So we need to check those narratives.
Again, we have a nation of people that are too easy to search for what's wrong. We love the drama. I don't know what it is about us. Why not showcase what's good about Jamaica? And that's what we need to do more of as a people. Just decide that, hey, if we keep posting the positives, that is the way you get change towards the positive.
And number two is the belief that Jamaica is full of corruption and has too much bribery and bureaucracy and that the government is the worst. And yes, there is a lot of these things that we hear about in Jamaica, way too many. However, are we living under rocks in the other countries we are in? Or is it that their news media aren't lambasting the country and exposing those things as prevalently as the foreign medias in Jamaica tend to do? Maybe that is one of the issues, because these things are happening in other countries. Who do you think Jamaica got their governance from? They got it from other countries. They were taught some of these things. And of course, we should do better and try to eliminate them from our society as much as we can. But don't be deceived into thinking that this is a Jamaica thing, because it's not. Number three is that Jamaica is underdeveloped and need to improve in order to accommodate their return. Well, Jamaica is on a trajectory of upward mobility and development, and it is important that if we want to get in there at a point where we can actually afford to climb onto the ladder, now is the perfect time in which to do so. or else we might just cut ourselves out of the process in its entirety. And whilst we need to make sure that we have robust infrastructures and processes to help us along the way, sometimes when it is said the way in which people are expecting things to happen in order for them to come back, it sounds a little bit entitlement attitude. Number 4, the Jamaican medical care and crime is their reason for not returning. Well, we've addressed those issues in so many different ways here on this channel. And at this point, we all know what the medical care and the crime are like in other countries. You know, I lived in England for decades, and we hear about things happening on the news in Canada and in the United States of America. And we know that these things are not smooth sailing in those countries either. It's just that people are okay to tolerate those, unlike coming back to the island and tolerating it here. Number 5 is that there are no job opportunities in Jamaica, and so they won't be able to earn a living. But if you think about it, we have masses of Chinese and Indians who are coming onto the island. They are able to come here not to seek job, but to create jobs. So maybe it is worth us thinking as well, how can we actually come here and find ways of creating jobs, whether we're coming as individuals or as groups, or we're coming to work collaboratively with companies and organizations that are already here on the island. How about we try to see how we can build out and create jobs? Because in fact, in the countries in which the Jamaican diaspora is residing, that's what people there do. They set up businesses and they set up companies so that they can create the jobs and build out a better economy within the countries that they are living. And it is why many Jamaicans are able to go there as economic migrants and get jobs, because people there are creating these jobs. It's not because government is doing it. It's because the people in the society are setting up businesses to solve problems and issues in the society, which in turn create jobs for the people in the society, as well as creating jobs that others are migrating there to occupy. Number 6 is they have children in the countries that they are in, and so they cannot come back to Jamaica until those children are grown. There are several of us who are on the island who came here with children who are not adults, and we are growing them and giving them an experience that they can have in Jamaica that will add to their resilience and their tenacity and give them additional grit for the future that they will occupy. Some of them will decide to remain in Jamaica. Others of them will decide that they want to go back to the country in which they were born and establish lives there. And there are many people who contact us and tell us that they're coming home, and they're coming home with children who are even under the age of 18 and 18 and over, and they're coming home, and they're coming home with them. So in terms of that is definitely not a hindrance, because there are people who are moving with their children from other countries going into these countries as well. It's still the move that they're making with children, and those children go there and establish themselves. So in the same way, it can happen the other way around too. Number 7 is that people in Jamaica are bad-minded and are going to target them for crime. Well, the reality of it is that these are some of the situations that may exist. However, majority of the people who are returning to Jamaica are not being targeted in any way, and oftentimes some of those news reports that make it seem that way are simply over sensationalizing and making sure that they present the news in such a way that triggers people in a way that makes them want to watch and just increase fear mongering in individuals, and that's simply what is happening in a lot of these cases. It is human to use our scenario and our situation to then compare or judge other individuals. Jamaicans in the diaspora need to remember that not everybody in Jamaica are what they would refer to as poor. There are people in Jamaica in different financial classes. There are people in Jamaica who are super rich, or wealthy. There are people in Jamaica who are middle income earners. There are people in Jamaica on different strata of the hierarchy in terms of wealth, and in the same way that it is in the countries that you are currently residing in. And so it's not that expats and repats coming to Jamaica have a target on them simply because they're coming from abroad, because there are people in the country who are equally, if not more wealthy than those people who are coming back. And many of the expats and repats coming to Jamaica aren't necessarily wealthy. They just have a vision and an ambition that this is where they want to be, and they come here and make it happen for them. The reason some of these ideas are still permeating the spaces in the minds of Jamaicans in the diaspora and some Jamaicans on the island is because these ideas are constantly being supported by mass media, who are profiting from the fear-mongering narratives, the over-sensationalization of events, and stirring stories how it would have great shock effect on people and cause triggering reactions. People are more inclined to watch these shocking negativities, and so they support and promote their publication. If people really want honest and balanced information, they would, one, watch the stories of people who have moved back and are living on the island and see what their experiences are like. Two, they would watch channels like JIS TV and PBC Jamaica to balance the shock factors that they are getting from other sources. Three, they would come to Jamaica to visit more often to see the situation at hand for themselves. Four, they would stop complaining that things are expensive on the island, because the general statistics of cost of living, which we've done a video of here on our channel, shows that Jamaica has a lower cost of living than the United Kingdom, the United States of America, and Canada. Just think about the countless bills, fees, and fines that we pay when we're living in those countries to ensure that they are being run efficiently and effectively. For Jamaica to get some of those, they do charge custom duty on imported items, and also they charge a consumption tax when people buy. This is how they are able to fairly and balancedly ensure that all of Jamaicans are actually contributing to the monies and the revenues that the country is getting, although it has other means in which it gets revenue, for example from tourism and income taxes and other means. Number 5 is understand that Jamaica is a changing and thriving country and has many challenges and opportunities. Non-Jamaicans are seeing these opportunities and coming to Jamaica with their families to build out their lives, but Jamaicans are finding it a big problem. Maybe that's because they lack the vision for how they can bring solutions to Jamaica, and also they do not want to lose out on the convenience that they have where they are. If returning is not your desire, that's fine, but stop projecting your views of Jamaica from the time gone when you left the country onto the present Jamaica that is being built out. Not every Jamaican in the diaspora will benefit themselves or Jamaicans by returning. Some are moving to the continent of Africa and others to other Caribbean islands, and that's what they believe works best for them, and that's fine and fair. However, just as we aren't deterring people moving to foreign countries, we should also stop deterring people from moving back to Jamaica simply because they can't see the scope of a great life in Jamaica, which many people are moving to Jamaica and creating for themselves. Let us know your views in the comment section. Are these concerns genuine, or are they some aspect of delusion that is floating around in the minds of individuals who are in the diaspora and even some people who are currently residing on the island? And tell us your views in the comment section below. This Sabbath at church, it was such a wonderful occasion where the men and young people who aren't yet mothers put together a wonderful program and a banquet for those people who are mothers. Either you're mothers because you've given birth, or you're a mother because you rear and nurture children around you. And so the whole experience was quite a phenomenal one, and it was one that I decided that I would stay back for, and I'm really pleased that I did, because it was a remarkable occasion and it helps to, ignite and give you an opportunity to reflect on what are some of the reasons that brought you to wanting to be a parent, and some of the experiences of motherhood and the priceless moments that you can look back on and seeing where you have been blessed with the task to parent the children that Yah has given to you. And so it was a wonderful occasion for us to be able to share and to also have insight in understanding other people's process and their journey in motherhood and parenting as well. they also gave us some gifts, and one of the gifts they gave was a jar. And so I had this jar, and the minute Eliona saw the jar, I could see her brain going into overdrive, thinking of the different ways in which she could utilize it so that it becomes a functional piece of instrument in our household rather than something we just put down and store. And here's the footage showing you exactly how she decided to use that. Take a look. I woke up this morning to Eliona making sounds and coming to call me and said she have something to show me, and this is what it was. Breakfast and nicely made, freshly made cookies. The container is still hot, and I'm going to taste some of those cookies momentarily. But it's an awesome feeling as mothers to know that there is moments throughout the year where you get to some level of indulgence as mothers, given that it's such a selfless role that we play. And so to all the mothers, mothering happens every day. And so every single day is a Mother's Day for us to be able to take time to celebrate our journey of mothering and learn how to become better at it, as well as to assess and to see how we're going and how we're doing, and take stock of all of the things that we're doing in our children's life and in the life of those that we parent without giving birth to, as well as those we parent that we carried. They're heart-shaped cookies, still warm to the touch. This is so amazing. I'm going to taste it now and let you know what I think about the taste of it. Those are nice and soft. But when you bite into it, it still have a little bit of crunch. And it's not too sweet. And it's raised properly. You were saying, so it's raised properly. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gifts that has been made have had so much thought put into it, and it just feels so much different, better, and more appreciated than something somebody goes and buy. And yes, people work for their money when they go and buy it, but there's just a difference in getting a homemade gift where somebody has put their heart into making it for you. So I did appreciate this. Hey Eliona, I wanted to come across to say thank you for your cookies that you made and your breakfast, and all the effort that you've gone through and the thoughtfulness to show your gratitude and appreciation.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. And how's your part of the day going?
It's a bit annoying.
Oh, what's happening?
Because I'm filming for a video,
Mm-hmm.
and the software I'm using is just not cooperating.
Oh.
So I tried to move to editing what I have.
Mm-hmm.
I upload it in the week instead of Sunday because it won't be able to be finished now.
Mm-hmm.
So I set I have like a layout of how I'm going to set out the video. So I set which day I'm going to do it. Most of them are Monday because I want to upload it by either Monday night or Tuesday afternoon.
Okay. So you found a workaround?
Yeah, but I'm still trying to get my phone to work.
Okay. Hopefully it will sort itself out shortly.
Because at first I thought it was storage, but I know it's not because I moved to editing on my tablet.
Okay.
So that means that and I stopped sending myself videos. Instead I sent it straight to my tablet and I deleted it from my phone after it's been imported into my tablet.
Oh.
So I don't know why.
Could it just be going slow because maybe the internet isn't at its...
Well, although it keeps on disconnected from the internet, I came out and I looked at your computer and it was on full bar at the top, and I came here and nothing was wrong with it, and my tablet was going off. My tablet doesn't like to connect to the internet, but it's going off in my room, and I'm right here and it's not connected to my phone. So I had to restart it about 10 times for it to work, and then it was like overheating, so I put it down to charge as well because it wasn't a low percentage as well. So then by the time I got the camera to work, it was about to die, so I had to put it on the plug.
Oh.
So I just gave up and moved to editing.
That's fine. Well, I wouldn't say give up. I would say you postpone that. You figured, let me do this with that, and in the meantime, let me use my time productively to do this. So you've solved your own problem. So that's quite good. Well, I'll check in to see how it goes, if you've managed to do all of what you had planned on doing on your devices and have your stuff set up for how you want it later. And I'm going to go sort out dinner.
Okay.
All right then. See you later.
The Jam Fam family. Where living the good life. We're royal, cruising through the West Indies, having fun, enjoying the good life. Jam Fam family, the Jam Fam family, yeah. Jam Fam, come hang with me. The Jam Fam family. Jam Fam, come hang with me. Yeah.
We thank you so much for staying with us here on this another episode of Life with the Jam Fams. We appreciate you engaging in the conversation. Bye for now, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.